Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. This video is brought to you by Building Block Construction. Their information will be in the description. So yeah, let's get back to some racing. So this is the Major Motion Hughes Parkway Crit, and this is the women's P123 race. And the footage is courtesy of Marlena Bemis. So yeah, here Marlena gets off to a good start. Yeah, this is well, first of all, I apologize. I'm a little bit backed up on videos, so it's taken me a little while to get these out because I crashed a little bit before this race. So yeah, I've been a little injured, moving around a little bit slowly, so I'm backed up on videos. But anyway, thanks for being patient. No one's messaged me or anything, saying get the videos out. So I guess nobody really cares that much. But anyway, Marlena got a good start here, and if you haven't seen any of the other videos from this race, this circuit's a pretty flat surface here. No real thrills or elevation or anything. It's just you can see in the map on the left-hand side up there, top left. It's just a fast-flowing crit. This section here has a little bit of crosswind, so it can put a little strain on you, but nothing really. I mean, as long as you're tucked in, it's nothing. The wind wasn't that heavy here. And then coming into turn 3 here, you're gonna basically not even have to turn. It's just like a little kink in the road. Obviously, since the bikes are so narrow and the tires are so small, you really don't have to have any significant lean angle here whatsoever. You can pretty much just straight line it through the turn. And in the previous videos I had said turn 2 was probably the tightest turn, but I don't think it is actually. You can look at the map up there, and I think turn 4 here is technically the tightest turn. It's just really none of them are tight though. It looks like it's decreasing radius up there, like not a true 90 degree, maybe it's like an 80 degree turn or so. But honestly, it felt normal. You take a wide approach here, come into it, and you can actually exit it kind of to the outside also. So it wasn't tight at all. And that's basically going to be one lap here. This is the front straight. So that's basically going to be one lap. They had a pretty good sized field. Also, there was a good turnout for these races. Weather was good as well. You can see it's a little overcast, so the temperatures were down, keeping everyone cool. But other than that, it was perfect. The road looks kind of worse than it is. It's kind of old and beat up a little bit, but it really wasn't that bad. Not too many serious issues. Nothing that's going to cause you a flat or anything like that. So yeah, I wish Marlena was tucked in a little bit better here, but she's still, near the front of the race in a decent position. A little bit of a wide turn there, not the greatest turn, but I think this race gets a little spicy off and on too. It was a decent race. Nothing too, I don't know, nothing too exciting, but just a little spicy here and there. As I said, then you see a little attack going off on the right side over there. I want to say that was one of the end cycle mommies that took off. And there's Alexa in front of Marlena right there. That's Alexa Alarcon. I don't know how to pronounce her last name exactly. But yeah, Alexa's probably our newest team member. She's a Cat 2. She's been doing a great job racing for us as well. She's done 3 races now. And I think this was actually her first race with us. See, Marlena's eating a little bit more wind than I want her to, but she puts in a little bit of effort here to kind of move up a few spots. There's also a good amount of preems in this race. Major Motion did a good job of getting some pretty good cash preems to the women. Um, like I think some of them were $50, $75, and $100. So that's like a good chunk of change to go for. You see Jade up there in the Major Motion kit. Jade's been having a really strong year. Doing a really good job of just saving energy and kind of unleashing a big sprint at the end. So, that's the beauty of cycling, is kind of like everybody has their own style and their own way of racing that fits their physical abilities. You can see it's heating up a little bit here. A lap ago, we came through at 22 miles per hour. Now it was up to 28. I was going to say, it looks like Camilla wanted to come over to the left a little bit. Marlena left that door open. That's something I talk about sometime. If you leave a gap open like that, sometimes it can create a dangerous situation because riders want to shoot through there, and you end up creating a situation where you can get your wheel chopped. And I know a lot of people will be mad about it. Like if Camilla shoots through there and chops Marlena's wheel, everybody will be mad about it. But to a small degree, Marlena kind of created that situation by leaving too big of a gap between her and the rider in front of her. And as you can see, Camilla had looked over maybe 2 or 3 times before she made the move. And that's just something to be aware of as a rider. If you see a rider looking over a couple times real quick, taking a couple glances, more than likely they're either gonna move or they want to move in that spot. So you either need to open that door and let them through, or you need to close it to where they know they can't fit through there. But you really don't want to leave it half open, half closed, because they're going to shoot through and then you'll create a situation where your wheel may get chopped. And like I said, once people hit the ground, everyone's going to be mad and want to blame someone, but you kind of put yourself in that situation. Yeah, they really got it stretched out now. And like I said before, this is a really fast flowing course, so it's really hard for breakaways to go off here just because the speed stays high for a long time. So breakaways are a little better when something like, especially the course layout, forces people to slow down, or when it forces a really hard effort. So anything with like some incline or really tight turns or a chicane, something like that where it's either going to bottleneck and stretch out, or there's going to be a very hard effort. So anytime the speed changes, basically kind of sets up better for a breakaway. And because this course is so open and flowing, it's really hard to get breakaways because the speed really shouldn't slow down that much. And even if it does, like now they were down to 18, even if it does slow down, to accelerate again, it's just a straight shot. It's nothing that's going to have your speed slow significantly. There's Emmy to the right too. Emmy moved up to Cat 3 and is racing the P123s now, and she's been having a very good year as well. She's really strong, still a junior, so she's still gonna, have some growth left in her and a lot of potential there. There's a lot of really strong women in this race. So again, 28 miles per hour the last 2 laps, and down to 19, 20 miles per hour here. And again, anytime it slows down, as you can see on that right side up there goes someone attacking again. Anytime a race slows down, someone's going to be going to attack. Be prepared for it. Don't get caught out in a big gear where you can't accelerate or where you have to use too much muscle. You know, a lot of people say that they use a big gear to get their heart rate down, which is partially true, but that's not the only way to get your heart rate down. Obviously, when you're doing lower watts, even if you have a slightly faster cadence, your heart rate will still go down, and it depends on how you train. You train with a little bit higher cadence, your heart rate will adjust, or your overall body will adjust, and your heart rate will stabilize. It's not just a 100% given that a faster cadence will have, you know, with too high of a heart rate. It is higher than a slow heart rate, but it doesn't mean you can't recover while using a fast cadence. I think Jade says she doesn't want to chase this time. She's like, yeah, if you guys want to go for it, but I'm not going to put in too hard of an effort here. She did pick up the pace a little bit, but you know, there was no snap or urgency to jump onto that move there. But like I said, with the speeds being high, you can see like it's really hard for the brake to kind of get away. For a course like this, you'd really have to have more teammates that could really control the peloton and allow for someone to get a pretty good gap. I think that's one of the harder things about teamwork in cycling is most people don't practice as a team. Most teams do not practice together, like any significant practice. They may do some rides and some group rides, but they don't really practice together. And it's really hard, for one, because it's hard to duplicate like race scenarios, especially at race pace. So a lot of people will have a strategy, but they've never really had the chance to practice it or pull it off under these kind of conditions with this type of speed, this type of adrenaline, with opposition there. And when they're trying to do something in a race, they don't really know how to do it effectively. So now you got some other people jumping in in the effort to bring back the break. I see Alexa up there, the young lady from Legion. I'm not sure of her name, and I don't have the list in front of me, the rider list in front of me, since it's been 3 weeks since this race happened. Alexa's a really smart rider too. She's done 3 races with us now, and I've been really impressed with her riding ability. She's just really smart, knows how to ride, knows where to position herself in the crit to, be most efficient. So I see everybody looking around. Looks like no one really wants to be on the front here. Marlena goes ahead and takes the front on the inside line there. And I don't know if she was really trying to take the front or just she ended up going on the inside line and the young lady from Legion ran wide. So here you got one of the mommies on the front.
Still all together.
All right, shouldn't really be doing the weave there. I know no one's kind of there, but that can be dangerous sometimes if you don't know someone's trying to maybe attack on the side. But there was no one near her. But I would just, me personally, just my 2 cents, I would not recommend that. Another thing I see in the women's races sometimes, and I'm not trying to pick on the women riders or anything, it happens in the male races also. The difference is we just have so many people in the races that we're not able to do it as much. But I see a lot of cross wheeling and a lot of near misses when it's strung out. And when you're in a big pack and you cross wheel, it's not as big of a deal because the riders that you're cross wheeling can't move left or right. But even if you see here, like Camilla was cross wheeling a little bit there on Jade, and if Jade would have moved to her right, then you have an incident. So when it's stretched out and you're going fast like this, you don't really need to be so close to the wheel in front of you. One wheel length is about the right distance, 18 inches, one full wheel. That's close enough. You're gonna get maximum draft there. You don't need to be 6 inches off the wheel. The risk versus reward is just not there. So if that rider in front of you moves left or moves right, there's no risk of you getting your front wheel chopped again. So I just see it a lot, especially when it's stretched out like this and the group's going a little bit faster. You'll see that a lot of people, I think it's a little bit of desperation, like they're not sure, they want to move up a little bit, but it's going fast. They're not sure if the person in front of them is going to lose a spot or not. So they kind of ride off to the side and cross wheel a little bit. But that person doesn't really know where you're at. So if they move left or right, yeah, you can really get a wheel chop there, then you have a big incident. And again, everybody's gonna be pointing fingers. But when it's fast, don't move up. When it's fast, you just hold your position. Unless, of course, someone gets gapped and you have to go around. But for the most part, when it's fast, you just hold your position. Whenever it slows down, take that opportunity then to move up. But either way, anytime it's strung out, when a rider in front of you has the ability to move to their right and their left, you should not be cross-wheeling them. If you're in a pack and there's 6 across and you have your wheels in between 2 riders, it's still not the greatest, but you understand that both those riders cannot move because there's a rider next to them. It's a good job by Jade here putting in that effort to run down the front group. I can see Marlena's watts were medium high, so you know that Jade was putting in a big dig there. Yeah, you see, as hard as the girls are going, when there's this much draft, again, it's really hard to get off the front. The person sitting behind you might be doing 100, 150 watts less than you. So yeah, they're all back together again, starting to bunch up. You can tell the speed is slowed down a lot. I'm gonna say, give a quick shout out to Chia and Sherry in this race. They raced with the Master Open races also. I'm in the Open 50 this year, and both of them have been in races with me. And they're, they have a lot of experience. I think a lot of like riders can learn a lot from them, especially like when they're in the men's field or the open field. You know, I'm sure they're down on like overall power, but it's really not about that anyway. They do a great job of bike positioning, bike handling, you know, just being in the right place, staying out of trouble, staying tucked in, staying efficient. And, you know, they do fine in there just as good as anybody else. And I think the only part that they lack a little bit is when it comes to just like the raw power. They might be a little bit closer to their maximum on some of the accelerations than some of the guys are. But other than that, I think all of us, myself included, we can learn a lot from them. They're really stable, really solid riders. I haven't so far seen them do anything that I would question, you know. I'm not saying that they're perfect or above making a mistake or anything like that, but as far as, you know, just everyone, you know, learning as much as they can and from whoever they can, I think they're two people that, you know, display a good job. I mean, do a good job of just displaying like solid riding, safe riding, and pretty smart and efficient racing. And they're both really fast also. Unfortunately, I'm a little smarter than I am fast. I'm lacking talent now in my old age. So yeah, that's what I try to, you know, that's how I try to take advantage of being, you know, smart, just being efficient. Being efficient can make up for some of your physical limitations. And if you're stronger, it's still the same thing. The more efficient you can be, the stronger you're going to be at the end of a race. And a lot of strong people make that mistake of using power to always get them out of trouble or to always save them, you know, or for bad positioning. Sometimes Marlena is like that. She has a lot of power and she'll be in bad position, but she knows that she can just do 400 watts for a minute and move up to where she needs to. But honestly, it's not the most efficient, because then you will lack some, you'll be fatigued at the end of the race. When if you just do a better job of positioning, be more efficient, moving up at a lower cost of energy, and just riding in like some, you know, less stressful positions, you know, she'll have a lot of that power left at the end of the race. She probably hates that I'm talking about her, but she knows that kind of comes with me. When you're teamed up with me, that just kind of comes with it. I'm gonna use you as examples sometimes, both positive and sometimes negative, or I wouldn't say negative. It's just an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to get better. You know, when I coach football, that's one of the terms we use. Like, no one was ever in trouble. It was just you have an opportunity to get better. So even when we got in so-called trouble, we called them opportunities, and our coach would make us run laps or whatever. But he'd say you got 5 opportunities, you know, and you know we'd be having to do 5 reps of something. So yeah, I would just say taking on that philosophy, it's not really negative. It's just an opportunity to improve, an opportunity to get better. You see Georgetta, and I think that's Taylor, following her, running up the left side. And Charity puts in a little dig to close that gap as well. Another example to use, and I don't think she's in this race, but Colleen Gullick, who wins a lot of races, you know, I think a lot of people can learn from her as well. As strong as she is, she's often not making a lot of noise during the middle of the race. And, you know, when people are a little bit newer, they want to be seen, you know, and unfortunately they often want to be seen at the wrong times, you know. If you lead a lap in a race, it's great. Sometimes it can be good for your psyche to know that you can be at the front of a race. But once you get past that point and you've proved to yourself that, hey, I can be at the front of a race, there's really no benefit for being out there unless you're pulling for a team, keeping the pace fast, or you're going for a preem or something like that. But Colleen's one of those riders also that sometimes you won't even know she's in the race until that last lap, and she wins it, outsprints everyone. And again, that comes from just riding to your strength. And you know, you hear people saying like, oh, but she just sat in the whole time. Well, so that's your strategy. That's what you do. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to sit in, conserve all your energy, be in the right place at the right time with 2 to go, and then out sprint everyone to the line. It sounds great, but it's definitely not easy to do. So this is Marlena's second race of the day as well. She raced earlier and did a lot of work in that earlier race. I think she's still okay here, just riding kind of out of position. Sometimes we get stuck just riding in the back and, you know, just get into a little funk where you just don't shake out of it and you're just kind of riding out of position the whole time. But obviously she's here and you can see, you know, you guys all know her now by now, so you know she has enough power to like be in a better spot. But, you know, it seems like she's just kind of stuck in a rut right now, just being in this position here. All right, we're at about the halfway point of this race here. So right here is like Marlena's doing is a great time to move up. Once you know you're coming up to like the slower turn and everybody wants to soft pedal or slow down, that's a great time to just keep pedaling for 5 more seconds or so and move up some spots. The only thing I would say is as she moves up, she needs to be closer to riders so she can get at least a partial draft and just not be nose in the wind the whole time. Definitely in a much better position now. Just needs to move over to the left a little bit, get a little more of that draft, establish her position there behind Camilla. Definitely has to do a better job there and just hold some positions. She lost 2 positions there when I don't think she really needed to. It's not a big deal or anything, and sometimes you want to be a couple more riders back so you can get a little bit better draft and not really be on the front. But as I say that, she goes up to the front and chases after the Legion rider here, so. Here I'd like to see, in just some of the races, I'd like to see a little elbow flick here. I know it's great to use somebody else's energy, but when you're trying to bring back a rider or bring back a break, I see way too often in all racing, doesn't matter what category it is, other than like the men's higher categories or the open higher categories. So basically like the Masters or the P123 Open, all the other categories, I see this happen way too much where one rider pulls for a long time until they basically blow up, and then nobody kind of wants to come through, and that's what allows breakaways to get away. Even though you're not on the same team and all that, if there's about six to eight, the first 6 to 8 people, if they just rotate through with a decent effort, even if it's a 5 or 10 second effort and rotate through, you're gonna get at least like 60 seconds rest. So 10-second effort, 60 seconds rest, almost none of the breaks would get away if you know, a little bit of teamwork. Just about none of the breaks would get away. And, you know, I know some people say, hey, you shouldn't give away secrets and all that. It's not really secrets. And to be honest with you, all of these scenarios will always repeat themselves because that's bike racing. No matter what secret I say, other than giving away like true game plan of the day or whatever, or rider information, like how to beat a certain rider or anything, other than that, all these situations will always be available in every race basically. So the more people that know it just keeps it safer. It actually improves the level of racing also. Yeah, and I think honestly everybody will enjoy racing a little bit more if there's some common knowledge out there. Not to mention for yourself, you end up doing a 1 minute pull or 2 minute pull trying to bring something back, and then someone counters. Well, good luck. I hope you hope you have that fitness up, because good luck trying to recover and getting on the counter attack too. That's one of the easiest ways that people get, blown out the back, is right after pulling in a really big effort, someone counters. So Marlena's definitely been in a lot better spot these last 2 laps. And that's just, moving up to the front, basically. Letting your instincts take over, letting your race brain take over. Often when you're chasing, it's really good to get over some things, get over fears. Just positioning yourself better is just by racing, honestly. Once you just get into the front or start putting in hard efforts, all those second thoughts and stuff just start going away, because your concentration's on the wheel or on catching someone or on just the effort you're putting in. But anytime you slow down, start in the back, the mind starts to drift a little. And see, this is kind of what I'm talking about. There was just a hard effort before. You see Camilla putting her head down a couple times. That's a sign of fatigue by almost all riders. Just about all riders start to put their head down a little more when we get tired. And there you see Naomi, she has her head down too, because she's putting in a big dig. So she just kind of gritted her teeth and went for it. I think that's Ari Chen next to Marlena right there in the 2024 kit. You can tell she's a racer because she has some some gauze on her elbow. India and I too have matching right elbows now. We both have scars on our right elbow. India went down at the track, and I had a crash earlier this day right here. See, Alexa has both her elbows scraped. Ari has her elbow scraped right there, and that's just the life of a cyclist, basically. It's no need to really complain about it. Like I said before, crashing's part of the sport. You can see what we're doing. We're on bikes going 30 miles per hour in big groups, fighting for the same positions. It's gonna happen. It's not always something to get so angry about, even though it sucks. Crashing sucks. But, honestly, we have to come to grips with that is part of the sport. It's just the worst part of the sport. I think this would have been a good chance for Marlena to counterattack right here. I don't think there's anyone off the front again, but again, 2 efforts, everyone's a little tired, speed's gotten slow. It would have been really good for Marlena to slingshot and just counterattack right there. There's probably about 5 to 6 laps left in the race now. I'll try to see if I can see the lap counter when we come back around. Could take a much better apex there, but it looks like there was a rider to her right. Looks like we got a guy breaking away over there on the left outside the cones. Kind of reminds you of Tour de France when those little kids be riding next to the race. So here you can just straight line it here and run it wide to the outside. Should always hit that apex though, kind of straight line it, shorten the course a little bit. And I don't really have time to explain the whole thing because I think a lot of people get it wrong when they think of shortening the course. I see a lot of riders do this. They ride the very narrow inside of the course. And yes, that shortens the course, but it does not make it faster. That is not the fastest line to completely hug the curb around. You will travel a shorter distance doing that, but it doesn't allow you to travel a fast enough speed compared to a little bit wider line and then hitting apexes. There's a different way that's actually called straight lining that allows you to shorten the course and carry speed. But a lot of people get it wrong and they think just being on the tightest line is a faster line, and it's not. So Ari shot by. I don't know if that was a preem lap or if she was just trying to attack, but Ari shot by, got the speed up. And as you can see, Marlena was only doing like 150 watts there, and that's, like I said, that's the nature of this course. Like, you know, to pick up the speed, it's going from 26 to 28 sometimes doesn't take that big of an effort. So it's really hard, again, to, you know, to establish an actual break or to get a real gap. I just don't know if someone's still off the front and they need to run them down or not. See, right here, it doesn't hurt to flick that elbow. You know, you slowed down, you don't want to pull anymore, it doesn't hurt to flick an elbow. I don't know why, but I think sometimes, you know, my apologies if I sound like I'm just saying it happens in the women's races. It doesn't. It's just when I see, from what I see and the people I know in the races, sometimes the women don't communicate as much as the men do. We don't have a problem with flicking an elbow or asking someone to work with us or whatever, or to say, come on, let's go, we got a gap. And sometimes I see people in Marlena's films or Ellen's films, like they'll try to establish a breakaway and they'll have a gap and none of them will say anything, but later people will say, oh, nobody wanted to work. And it's like, well, stick your hand out. Maybe somebody will shake it and you'll be frenemies for a couple laps, you know? So this seems like the spot that, I don't know why, a lot of people seem like they like attacking on this spot. And there you go, picking up the pace a little bit here. And I know, like I said earlier, this is the spot with the crosswind, so it does make sense. It just seems though, after, you know, 10 laps, 15 laps, sometimes you got to switch it up. So I think we have 6 laps to go right now, or maybe 5 laps to go. I said I was going to look at the lap counter, and of course I didn't. So this is a situation I was talking about there where Marlena should have kept a closer wheel to Emmy right here, because she's kind of having this gap there. So let's say Taylor wanted to move over, or Naomi wanted to get over to the right, you know, there's an opportunity or a slight chance there that they could cut across Marlena, and of course Marlena would think it's their fault, but technically that's kind of her fault for leaving that door half open, and it creates a situation where where Marlena may be out of their vision, out of their peripheral vision, and they cut across and chop her wheel. So you really want to keep those gaps closed, either wide open or closed, one or the other. I'll definitely try to look at the lap counter this time, but yeah, I think there's 10 minutes to go, or so there's probably 4 laps to go, roughly 4 laps. I think it was just about a little over 2 minutes a lap, probably, if I can remember correctly. I don't know if it was this course or not, but yeah, I think most of our races are just about 2 minutes a lap, sometimes in the 150s, stuff like that. Obviously, depends on how fast you're going. All right, Marlena's on the wrong side, so I don't think I can see the lap counter. Nope, not a chance. Definitely slow the way it's bunched up now. Let's see if everybody stretches it out again on this back straight here. Looks like the speed's picking up just a little bit. And once again, there it goes. So as you notice, once the race gets in this type of rhythm, it should become easier to be more efficient. You kind of know where the efforts are now. You know where everyone's going to pick up the pace. You know where people are going to try to attack, where everyone's going to try to recover. And you got to take note of these things. You know, if it happens 3-4 laps in a row, you got to prepare for it. You should be more efficient, position yourself better. Pretty much every race has like, everyone thinks it's random, but it's not. Every race has a rhythm. And unfortunately, humans aren't good at doing things randomly. It's almost impossible for us to be completely random. And really, it's because we're making conscious decisions. So unfortunately, Marlena uses this left side a lot to move up, but I think it's just not the best spot. Right here, she doesn't use too many, she's not using too much energy, probably because she's in a partial draft here. But yeah, I think she can be more efficient moving up sometimes instead of using that same spot. Anytime you're using a straightaway, usually the speeds are going to be a little bit higher. It wasn't this time, but usually it's going to be a little bit higher. You typically want to move up when something's either slow or about to slow down. Let's see if somebody attacks again. Or even accelerates. Doesn't look like it this time. It's a miracle. Wonder if this is a preem lap. I guess I doubt it. It'll probably be going faster right now. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. No, I think more people would be contesting if it was a preem. Could be though. Still couldn't see the lap counter, but it's only 1 or 2 laps to go left. This might be the last lap, or maybe it's 2 to go. I think this was only a 50-minute race, and we're at 46 minutes in, so. Yeah, I'm thinking there's 2 to go. This is where the cat and mouse starts. Most races is just flat out from this point on. Like it's just moving so fast from this point on, but it looks like a little cat and mouse going here. And typically that's going to favor a sprinter. Either a sprinter or a late attack, one of the two. Because everybody's recovering right now, and you never want to race against 30 people while they're fresh. Unless you think you can beat them all while you're fresh. But most races are a lot better when it's stretched out, when it's a lot harder, when you reduce the number of people that can actually win it. And it typically makes it safer also when it's stretched out. But right now, if you let everybody in it and there's 1 to go, everybody's feeling good and they think they can win it at that point. And you end up just making it hard on yourself, and there's a lot of people to sprint against. You typically don't want a mass bunch sprint. We always call it a bunch sprint, but you really want to reduce the numbers as much as possible. You want to sprint against 1 or 2 people, 5 people, but not 20, 30 people, no matter how good of a sprinter you are. A lot of sprinting is just timing. It's not just power and speed. It's just timing and who makes it to the line first. May not be the fastest person, but they get the jump on you. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the last lap here. Elena went from, I don't know, 5th position back to the back of the pack. Definitely not where you want to be on the last lap. So if you see, look how many people now are in contention, opposed to keeping the race a little bit faster. That makes it a lot dangerous, a lot more dangerous. Going into this last turn makes it a lot more dangerous. And now you got 25, 30 people sprinting, all sprinting for the win. If you look right in front of me, you see India. India actually runs into the back of Sherry right there. So again, close call, and that's one of the reasons why you want to thin out the herd a little bit here. You don't want to sprint with that many people going into the finish line. Yeah, I know someone has to sacrifice themselves and keep the speed up, but anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully get some of the other videos out. We still have all the Taylor Elizabeth Clifford race to get out, and I'll try to get those out soon. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.